What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back to a new review. Today we are checking out one of the best budget phones that I've tried so far, at least one of the best budget phones available in North America, because as we all know there are a lot of great budget phones in India, China, Europe, but here in North America we don't get that many options. So this one is called the Bold N1. This is a phone made by Blue and this is a phone that you can buy for about $250. And let me tell you that for the price this phone is quite impressive. Everything starts with a 6.4 inches screen. This is an AMOLED screen that has a 1080p resolution, and this is one of the best screens that I've seen on any budget phone and even on some flagships. So if you'd be to compare this screen to the screen on the iPhone 11, well, this one is 10 times better. The colors are super vibrant, the blacks are super deep, not to mention the screen gets bright enough so you can see it outside in direct sunlight. So quite impressive that we get this screen on a budget device. We even have an in-screen fingerprint scanner, once again a feature that you don't usually see for a budget device, and this one seems to work good as well. So it takes about half a second from the time you press the fingerprint scanner for the screen to be unlocked. Maybe not as fast as a flagship, but decent enough, I would say. The phone also supports that feature where the screen comes on every time you pick up the phone. So if you have it in your pocket or on a desk or something like that, by the time you pick up the phone and you touch the fingerprint scanner, the screen will be turned on and then it will be unlocked. So it works very good. Now keep in mind the phone doesn't support face unlocking, and that probably has to do with the fact that we have a pop-up camera as a selfie camera, and I guess to take too long for that camera to come on so it can see your face. Talking about that front-facing camera, well, if you take pictures with plenty of light, the pictures turn out decent, but if you take pictures in low light, the pictures become a bit grainy. Not to mention the portrait mode from the front-facing camera doesn't work that well. But overall, for the price of the device, I think it does really good. And since we are talking about cameras, we might as well talk about the rear camera. So on the back we have two cameras, but realistically you're only gonna use one of them most of the time. The second camera is used whenever you're taking portrait mode pictures. And talking about portrait mode pictures, most of them turn out really good and better than I was expecting. So the edge detection around the subject works pretty decent. If you're taking pictures through the main lens, you're probably gonna wanna turn on the HDR mode, because if you don't turn on the HDR mode, the dynamic range doesn't seem that great, but whenever you're taking pictures during the day with the HDR mode, the pictures do turn out pretty good. And these are some examples of pictures that I took with this device. There is also a night mode available. Of course, the night mode isn't as good as the night mode that you'd find on a flagship from Huawei or from Apple or something like that, but definitely makes the pictures look a bit better. And considering that this phone is only about $250, I think the nighttime pictures that I took with it do look okay. And these of course are some examples of pictures that I took with it. Now for video recording, the phone also only supports 1080p, that's the maximum recording resolution. Unfortunately, we don't seem to have any image stabilization at that resolution. And this is a quick example of a video that I've recorded with this phone 2 days ago. Alright, this is a super quick video test with the Bold N1 smartphone. So the maximum recording resolution for this device is 1080p, and from what I'm seeing on the screen here, we don't seem to have any type of image stabilization for video recordings, which is a shame, but considering the low price of this device, kind of normal. So this is how a recording from this device would look like with a bit of wind and walking. Moving on to the build quality, well, you'd never guess that this is a $250 phone. On the front we have scratch resistant glass, then we have a metallic frame, the phone looks and feels pretty slim, and the back does look like it's made out of glass, but I actually believe that this is plastic. Not necessarily a bad thing, but I believe that the back is made out of plastic. At the bottom here we even get a 3.5mm audio jack, something that I haven't seen in quite some time. Not to mention that the speaker, the only speaker available, is probably one of the loudest speakers that I've heard on any phone. And it does sound good as well, so quite impressive as well. Next to that we have a USB-C charging port, and the phone supports fast charging, but even the fast charging isn't that crazy fast, so you're still looking at about 2 hours to charge the phone from 0 to 100. Now the phone also supports wireless charging, a feature that we don't even get to the OnePlus 7T, for example. So a great feature to have. As for the battery life, well, inside this device you have a 3500 mAh battery, and on one charge you're basically gonna make it through an entire day and get about 4 to 5 hours of screen on time, depending how you use the phone. because if you're playing games, you're definitely not gonna get 5 hours of screen time, but if you're just watching YouTube videos and stuff like that, you will get 5 to 6 hours of screen on time. The phone comes with Android 9 right out of the box, and supposedly this will also be updated to Android 10, but we'll have to see when that happens. Now, the launcher is very close to stock Android, so you don't get any heavy skins, and the phone doesn't come pre-installed with any apps aside from the Google apps, which is definitely a good thing. So nothing holding the phone back, but we do have some added features like a screen recorder, for example, and that could come in handy in multiple situations. The score on the Antutu benchmark is about 150,000, and you already know that with that score the phone will perform good for pretty much any application. So I tried a bunch of apps on it like Chrome, Facebook, etc. and everything seems to work good, including multitasking. So if you're thinking that you're gonna buy a budget phone and it's gonna be slow, well, definitely not this one. You can also play pretty much any game on this device as well. And I'm also going to show you a little bit of gameplay, some PUBG that I've done earlier, and you're going to see that the game does really well. One thing I've noticed is the fact that whenever you're holding the phone like this to play games, it's super easy to cover the speaker here. So that is a downside. I wish the speaker would have been on the other side, not on this side, if that makes any sense. So let's check out that gameplay that I've done. Out of the 128 gigs of internal storage that comes with this device, you only get about 110 gigs left after the operating system, but the phone can also take an SD card, so you can expand the internal storage. If you're not using an SD card, then you can use 2 SIM cards at the same time. And talking about SIM cards, I'm happy to see that the phone supports a bunch of bands, and probably more than a bunch of other phones that I've tried in the past. And you shouldn't have any issues using this phone anywhere in the world. Well, at least the countries that I know. The GPS unit inside it works good as well. It takes about 4 to 5 seconds to find your location, but once your location is found, it doesn't seem to lose it. As for sensors, you have all the sensors that you would find in a flagship. The phone works on 2G, 3G and on 4G, at least here in Canada, and it also supports dual band Wi-Fi, and we get decent speeds over Wi-Fi and over the 4G network. But unfortunately the phone doesn't have NFC, so you're not gonna be able to make payments with this phone. So I really wish they would have included NFC, because the phone would have been like perfect with NFC, but like this you can't really go to the grocery store and buy something with it. So a bit disappointed that it doesn't have NFC. But other than that, connectivity wise it does work good, and the speaker at the top here gets loud enough so you can hear most conversations. So to quickly conclude this video, the Bold N1 is definitely one of the best budget phones that I've tried so far. It has one of the best screens that I've seen on any device. It has super small bezels all around that screen. The fingerprint scanner works decent, not as fast as that I've ever tried, but decent enough. The cameras are good enough for the price of the device. The battery life is average. I wish to have had a bigger battery inside, but then we would have got a thicker phone. So I don't know. Personally, I like a thicker phone with a better battery life, good performance, and overall I do recommend this phone. So if you're looking for a budget friendly device, definitely check out the Bold N1 because it is a great phone. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, don't forget to press that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.